The movie begins on the coast of Liverpool in 1760. We see the wealthy Collins family boarding their ships and setting sail for a new city to build a massive factory and expand their trade empire. Within a year, the city develops tremendously thanks to the Collins family, and the town is named Collinsport after them. At that time, the patriarch of the family speaks to his only son Barnabas, telling him that he will be the heir to the family fortune. He also reveals that he has built a magnificent estate for them to live in, replacing the small house they used to occupy. 15 years later, Barnabas has grown up and is in a relationship with Angelique, the maid of the manor. Angelique tells him that she loves him and wants to marry him. However, Barnabas decides to be honest with her. He tells her that he doesn't love her and that she is merely a servant. Angelique is devastated and her eyes fill with evil. She turns to black magic to kill his parents and take revenge on him. It turns out she is actually a powerful witch, not just a maid, and she only took the job at the Collins estate because she was obsessed with Barnabas. Her dark magic causes a massive stone statue to fall on Barnabas's parents, killing them instantly. While everyone in town believes their death was a tragic accident, Barnabas senses that someone used magic against his family. So he begins reading numerous books on the occult, hoping to find the culprit.
One day, while Angelique is working in the mansion, she is shocked to see Barnabas standing with a girl named Josette. He confesses his love to Josette, and they agree to get married. Consumed by jealousy, Angelique decides to cast a spell on Josette to kill her as well. The next day, Josette falls under the spell's influence. She walks blindly through the night, completely unaware of her actions, until she stands at the edge of a high cliff. Barnabas spots her and sprints to save her. When he reaches her, she begs him for help, saying she has no control over her body. Suddenly, she throws herself off the cliff and dies. Devastated, Barnabas throws himself off the cliff after her, wanting to die with his beloved.
However, Barnabas doesn't die. He wakes up to find he has been transformed into a vampire with many superpowers, including immortality. He sees Angelique standing triumphantly on the cliff and realizes she is the one who cursed him, turning him into a vampire so he would suffer for eternity over the death of his love. Angelique then destroys his reputation, turning the townspeople against him. They capture him, lock him in a chained coffin, and bury him deep in the forest. 200 years later, in 1972, a girl named Victoria is riding a train to the Collins Manor to apply for a job as a nanny. She had seen an ad in the newspaper from the Collins family. Victoria bears a striking resemblance to Josette, Barnabas's deceased lover, and we learn she is running away from her own family. When she arrives at the manor, Willie, the caretaker, welcomes her. She notices the mansion is huge but filthy and cluttered. Willie explains that only he and an old woman work there, so they can't maintain it alone. Elizabeth, the matriarch of the Collins family, arrives and introduces herself. She takes Victoria to her room for an interview to decide if she's suitable for the job. After a long discussion, Elizabeth decides to hire her. She takes Victoria to meet her teenage daughter, Carolyn. Carolyn mocks Victoria, revealing herself to be a rebellious girl who hates the manor and dreams of living in New York. Later, Elizabeth and Victoria sit down for lunch. They are joined by Roger, Elizabeth's brother, and Dr. Julia, the live-in psychiatrist for Roger's son, David. Dr. Julia remarks that Victoria looks like she is hiding a secret, but Victoria ignores her, keeping her runaway past hidden. During the meal, David appears wearing a ghost sheet to scare his new nanny. Elizabeth orders him to sit. It becomes clear David is troubled. His mother died when he was 5. That night, Victoria enters her room and sees a figure in a costume. Thinking it's David pranking her again, she pulls off the sheet, only to be shocked by the real ghost of Josette. The ghost tells her Barnabas is coming and vanishes. Victoria assumes she is hallucinating. Meanwhile, construction workers are digging in the forest to build a factory when they uncover Barnabas's coffin. Thinking it contains treasure, one worker breaks the chains. A dense smoke pours out and Barnabas emerges. He kills the workers one by one, draining their blood. He apologizes to one victim, explaining he is forced to do this because of his unbearable thirst after being locked away for so long. Barnabas heads into town, confused by the paved roads, neon signs, and modern restaurants. He doesn't know what year it is. He makes his way to his old manor and finds Willie, the caretaker, drunk. Barnabas uses his hypnotic powers to control Willie, making him his servant, and learns that the year is 1972. He enters the manor to meet his descendants. Carolyn and David are stunned because he looks exactly like the man in the old portrait hanging on the wall. Barnabas introduces himself as a distant relative and the family heir. Elizabeth takes him to a private room, convinced he is a con artist after their money. She reveals the Collins family is broke and owns nothing but this rotting house. Barnabas insists he is not a fraud and proves it by revealing secret passages in the house. Elizabeth grabs a knife to defend herself, but she is stunned when he opens a secret room she never knew existed, right where she kept her things. He asks her what she knows about the legend of Barnabas Collins. She recounts the story of the cursed heir who vanished, dismissing it as myth. Barnabas interrupts, declaring he didn't die but was trapped in a coffin for 200 years. To prove he can restore the family fortune, he opens another secret vault filled with millions of dollars in jewelry and treasure. Elizabeth is floored. Barnabas offers her the treasure if she lets him stay, but she sets one condition: he must never reveal he is a vampire. Barnabas joins the family for dinner. Elizabeth lies, introducing him as a cousin from Liverpool. When Victoria walks in, Barnabas is thunderstruck by her resemblance to Josette, but Elizabeth clarifies she is the nanny. Barnabas asks about the family fishing business. Elizabeth explains the cannery closed years ago because the Collins family was driven to bankruptcy by a rival company called Angel Bay, owned by a woman who now controls the entire town. Barnabas vows to restore the family's glory and open a factory bigger than his father's. We then learn that the owner of Angel Bay is none other than the witch Angelique, still alive and thriving. Her assistant informs her that workers found a coffin in the woods and were all killed. Angelique is shocked. She visits the empty grave and realizes Barnabas is free. She speeds to the Collins manor. Elizabeth tries to kick her out, blaming her for their poverty, but Angelique ignores her. Barnabas appears, and Angelique greets him with a cold smile. He drags her to his room to talk privately. She confesses she still loves him and missed him, admitting she meant to free him sooner, but got busy with business. Barnabas tries to kill her for ruining his family, but she uses magic to blast him with sunlight, his weakness. He retreats to the shadows. Barnabas tells Elizabeth that Angelique is the witch who cursed him and killed his parents. Elizabeth argues that if Angelique hated him, she would have killed him. Instead, she wants him to love her. Barnabas refuses to love the murderer of his family in Josette. Elizabeth encourages him to defeat her by rebuilding the business. Barnabas gets to work. He sells the treasure, renovates the mansion, and buys a new facility near the port. In a short time, the factory is booming. He even hypnotizes the head fisherman to break ties with Angelique and supply fish only to Collins. A professional YouTube movie recap narrator with a deep American male voice. The tone should be engaging, punchy, and fast-paced, but clearly articulated. The delivery must be storytelling-driven, maintaining a slight air of mystery suitable for a gothic fantasy, but keeping the energy high to hold viewer retention. Not too monotonous, not too dramatic, just a confident, gripping narration style. Angelique holds a meeting with her executives, who dismiss Barnabas as a fool. Angelique corrects them, noting his impossible success in just 1 month. She decides to buy him out. She meets Barnabas and offers him $20 million for his factory, 5 times what he paid. Barnabas refuses, declaring his family has been in this business for centuries. She threatens to kill him. He replies that death is better than living as a vampire. Angelique admits she can't kill him because she loves him, but if he doesn't love her back, she will destroy what he loves, starting with Victoria. Barnabas returns to Dr. Julia for his treatment, expressing his desire to be human again. Meanwhile, Victoria dreams of her past. Her parents institutionalized her for seeing ghosts, treating her with shock therapy, which forced her to escape to Collinsport following Josette's ghost. To celebrate the company's success, Barnabas proposes a grand ball at the manor, inviting the whole town. Carolyn suggests hiring a famous rock band to ensure people come. Barnabas agrees, and to everyone's surprise, he actually books them. At the party, Barnabas catches Roger picking pockets in the coat room. He hypnotizes David to find out what's happening and confirms Roger is stealing from guests. Barnabas finds Victoria alone. She confesses she feels drawn to him and reveals her secret past about the asylum and the ghosts. Angelique crashes the party, sees Barnabas confessing his love to Victoria, and decides to destroy him completely. After the party, Barnabas goes to Dr. Julia and makes a horrifying discovery. She isn't curing him. She is injecting his vampire blood into herself to become immortal and eternally young. Betrayed, Barnabas declares the penalty for treason is death. He bites her, drains her blood, and dumps her body in the ocean with Willie's help. He then catches Roger trying to break into the treasure vault. Barnabas chokes him and gives him a choice: stay and be a good father to David, or take a bag of cash and leave forever. Roger chooses the money, abandoning his screaming son.
David runs away crying and knocks over a ladder where Willie is fixing a chandelier. The massive fixture falls toward David. Barnabas uses his super speed to save the boy, but in doing so, he steps into a patch of sunlight. His skin burns in front of everyone. The family and Victoria recoil in horror. Victoria runs away terrified. Desperate, Barnabas goes to Angelique's office and begs her to make him human. She refuses and goads him into confessing he killed Dr. Julia, recording the confession. She offers him a partnership and marriage. He refuses, saying he will never marry the woman who killed his parents and lover. Angelique traps him in a coffin again, binds it with chains, and has her men dump it in an abandoned mausoleum where no one will find him.
Fortunately, David arrives and frees Barnabas. David reveals his mother's ghost guided him there. Meanwhile, Angelique has set the Collins factory on fire and plays the recording of Barnabas's confession to the police and townspeople, inciting a mob to drive the murderous Collins family out of town. The mob arrives at the manor. Angelique gloats to Elizabeth, but Barnabas emerges. He hypnotizes the sheriff and tells the crowd that he and Angelique are both monsters. He bites her in public to prove she isn't human. She reveals her witch form and blasts him back into the house. Inside, Angelique blames him for not loving her. He calls her an evil witch. She spits green goo at him and he throws her into a room. Carolyn attacks Angelique, revealing she is a werewolf. Elizabeth shoots Angelique with a shotgun, but she is unharmed and brings the wooden statues of the house to life. Angelique overpowers Carolyn and throws her down the stairs. She reveals she sent the werewolf that bit Carolyn years ago and admits to killing David's mother. David appears and threatens her with his mother's ghost. Angelique mocks him, but the ghost of David's mother suddenly materializes, screams, and hurls Angelique into the chandelier. It crashes down, fatally wounding the witch. As the house burns, Barnabas approaches the dying Angelique. She says she truly loved him and rips her own heart out to offer it to him. The heart turns to ash and she finally dies. Barnabas searches for Victoria. David says she is at the cliff. Realizing she's under a spell like Josette, Barnabas rushes to save her. He catches her, but Victoria insists she must jump. She says she belongs in the light and he in the dark, and they can never be together unless she becomes a vampire too. Barnabas refuses to curse her. Victoria throws herself off the cliff. Barnabas jumps after her, catches her in midair, and bites her neck to turn her. They hit the ground and Victoria opens her eyes, now a vampire. They decide to live in the curse together forever.